Welcome to Technique, where we technically discuss the tech aspect of things. I'm Courtney Woods, award winning website designer, owner of PC Media Tech.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jared Stisher. I am the Marketing Communications Manager for Tech Birmingham here in Birmingham, Alabama. Happy to be here. So let's dive into it. Technique. We're talking about tech, its everyday tech and its impact. I know we were talking about potential current events. One thing I have that came up, Courtney, I don't know if you saw it or not, but Apple had their recent September event going on. Did you see that for the iPhone 16?
I did.
Yeah, so Apple every year, as I feel as if a lot of people know, they announce a new iPhone with a lot of new capabilities, new stuff that it can do, maybe an extra camera,
New features.
new features. So this one time we have a new iPhone 16. At this point, they all kind of feel the same to me. Maybe this one has some type of AI in it, but AI is in everything now. So we'll see how that goes. They have a new Apple Watch, a new pair of AirPods, and I mean, it looks pretty great. I do need a new phone.
Right. And just listening to how you said we'll see how that goes and your tone of voice. Are you excited about the new update?
I think that now that AI is playing such a big role in everything, OpenAI has a deal. The guys that made ChatGPT, they do have a deal with Apple, I'm pretty sure. And there's probably 10 out of 10 that there will be ChatGPT or its AI like ingrained into the new Apple iPhone 16. So it's going to be cool.
I bet that is going to be pretty dope. And I was just curious because I'm actually an avid Samsung Galaxy
Okay.
Ultra type of girl. I've
Okay.
always been a Galaxy girl.
It might be time to mix it up,
I have an iPad,
Okay.
but I cannot see myself switching over to the iPhone.
Now, why is that?
I'm a Galaxy girl. I
Okay.
grew up on Windows. I've always been a Samsung girl, and I love the features that we have. So I just always feel like if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do still, like I said, use my iPad and Apple devices from time to
Well, you do kind of have the best of both worlds. So I feel like you don't have to switch because you're getting both the features
time.
from that Samsung vibe to, I mean, having an iPad, it's going to have everything once the update comes through.
Right.
So that's pretty good to hear. I used to have a Windows phone back in the day, but then I eventually switched. I got an iPhone on sale. My mom bought it for me, and then I've been with it since. So
Right.
yeah.
And I love the fact that you're an Apple head, is what I like to call you all.
An Apple head?
Yes,
Okay.
the avid Apple users. And I'm a Samsung girl. So our viewers will get the best of both worlds.
I agree.
Because I can tell you love Apple. And as you can tell, I'm on this side and this one I'm saying.
It's kind of like Xbox and PlayStation. Once you have an Xbox, you have an Xbox for life. It's very hard to switch to PlayStation. Or if you've always been one, or PC, people play on PC. There's always been console wars, so that's always been a thing.
That is true. And speaking of PlayStation,
Okay.
when my son got his PlayStation 5, I couldn't help but to notice that the web browser feature that used to be on the PS4 is not on the upgrade. And I asked him about it, and he tells me that it was the least used feature. He never used it. But my whole thing was if you're upgrading, if you're paying more for something, you shouldn't get features taken from you.
Right.
What do you think about that?
So I had an Xbox One, and then I decided to switch over to PS5 because there was like a lot more exclusives on it. But on my Xbox One, I love that I could actually like get on like kind of like Google Bing, Microsoft, and just search stuff. Now, I don't think that the PS5 should have taken away that like ability, but I think they were trying to focus because people like search like watch like TV and like shows and stuff through the search feature. That's not like one of their apps. I think they were trying to make people use their apps like Netflix, Max. Like, don't look at an outside source for this because then we lose money on that. Use the apps that we have on here that you can download, and then we get the money, and then it's not a pirated site or something. I think that was the main like reason for that, like breaking it off. But I do think they should have kept it. I think it kind of adds more of a not stuck to what you already have through the apps. You can look at other stuff,
Right.
That might not even be on like YouTube or anything like that.
Yeah, more of an all-in-one solution.
Right.
But if you PlayStation lovers love it, I love it. Um, I can hop on my laptop or my phone and get on the internet anytime.
Mhm.
But I did think that it was not fair for them to take it away.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit ridiculous. So if I want to watch a very specific show that I know isn't on any streaming services, I could have just looked it up on my Xbox. But I can't do that on my PlayStation now. So
so you're leaning more towards the Xbox.
Well, gaming wise, I'm gonna stick with the PlayStation, but for utility, I use my Xbox.
Gotcha.
So I keep the Xbox on a different TV. That's not my main TV where my PlayStation is. So I can go in the other room and like watch it on there if I wanted to.
Right. All about all-in-one solutions.
Right. No. So I know we had a couple of topics for this session. Let's talk about everyday tech and its impact. Our first like kind of little topic note is how AI is changing our lives. So let's talk about how like we use AI in our everyday stuff and services that other people might be using or might have seen it, but they didn't know it was AI, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, I can share one thing that I saw recently. I didn't experience myself, but I believe I saw a reel or something on social media where a lady was at the drive-through and she was recording and she realized that it was an AI sounding voice taking her order. So she recorded herself asking, "Are you a robot?" And it responded and said, "Yes, pull around." So
That's crazy.
it is. So how would you feel about that? Is what I'm gonna ask first off.
So what I like to tell people, like at least in what I do, is that AI is not something to be feared. This is not Terminator. This is not Skynet. Like AI is meant to be used as a tool because it's all numbers and logic. It doesn't have the human factor that we all have. So I don't think AI is taking your job. It's giving you more work. So the person that might be at the drive-through will be making sure that that robot is like not messing up, doing something else for more efficient purposes. I think that would be weird the first time I saw it, but then I would like get used to it at some point.
Yeah, I know we get used to it at some point, and I feel like I'm the one you talking to when you say it's nothing to fear, because sometimes I can be a what if type person.
Right.
So customer service what ifs and things like that cross my mind, but also you had a very good point when you said you don't believe that AI is there to take other people's jobs. So would you agree with me in saying the goal would be to be the person that understands how to manage the AI?
Right, I agree. I think that it leads to a whole new like type of job, I would say. We have people that AI isn't really regulated by the government right now, but there are already like corporations making jobs that focus specifically on AI and AI driven purposes. That includes, let's talk about trucking. I think I brought this up to you earlier when we were talking. A lot of people are getting their CDLs, and we have truckers But truckers can't drive all night. And I think they actually have a legal time limit, like of 12 hours of sleep when they drive, and I think they're developing sleep apnea and stuff like that. But I've seen companies, recent trucking companies, that have been investing in AI software, kind of similar to like those Ubers and Lyfts in like San Francisco that drive themselves, and it's like unmanned trucks. And they'll have the operator in the car, they can sleep, they can drive it, but it can drive itself. I think stuff like that.
Like a cruise control.
Cruise control. And then that leads to like the job of someone at that company being the manager of these like cruise controlled like vehicles. Like it's just a whole new like industry. AI is kind of AI and like machine learning stuff has always been around. Like we don't see it because it's just like every day, but it's like it's always been there. It's just become such a big keyword now because of like open AI and chat GPT.
Yes, which I love, by the way.
I love it too. There's so many like chat GPTs now.
It is.
And people are making, because it's open software, people are making their own chat GPTs. They're creating their own routes to a new job and to a new industry just using chat GPT and prompt engineering.
As a website designer, I can say that it saves me a load of time on particular tasks.
Right.
So this podcast technique is where we technically discuss the tech aspect of things. And we like to keep it to where everyday people can engage with our content. So for the people that are listening, they have no idea what ChatGPT is because they're not in this industry. Explain it for them.
So ChatGPT there's a free version and a paid version, just like everything else nowadays. I feel like, and it's basically a artificial intelligence that's been trained with thousands and thousands of books and videos, Google, Microsoft Bing, just to be able to answer your question. So, for example, if, say, you had a question that was, what's the answer to 2 times 2? It'll tell you 4 because it's analyzed the situation so many times. And it can take full documents. You could upload the documents, and it'll give you, hey, I want to examine this 40-page document. Give me the key points on every page that matter. And then it will take that, or that matter to a certain like topic. It'll take those points, it'll take that document and create the points for you, so you don't have to read 40 pages of like nonsense. Let's get to the meat of it.
Right, like contracts and agreements.
Right.
And things like that. And so even if you're maybe doing a new job resume or something like that, just being able to type a paragraph in there saying, I worked at this place, and this place. Create me a job resume.
Right.
There you go.
All you got to do is put the information in, and it'll make it for you. And you can tailor it any way you want to. It really simplifies it. And, like, for example, I had to make a proposal for the city of Birmingham the other day. I've never made a request for proposal. I said, ChatGPT, can you give me an example of a request for proposal, like a template that I can fill in? And within like 30 seconds, it made it. I did the request. I got it done in like an hour, which would have taken me hours to do on my own with my own tools.
Save so much time.
No, it's great.
So what do you think about the future of work?
I mean, I really see more artificial intelligence taking over like different jobs, and then we as the operators manage it, make sure it's running smoothly, and that also leads to more tech background based learning. Like we're not just like, oh, you know what, I'm in the food service industry, I'm not just a server, I help automate these machines to make it go a lot faster. But like I said earlier, you can't take away the human element.
Right.
I think that kind of ruins the whole experience. Like you said, like customer service. Yeah. So like, if your thing messes up, well, maybe I as a person, I talk to you, I apologize, I take it, and then I fix it myself,
Fix it, but the AI is just gonna keep spitting out the same phrase and frustrate the person.
Yep. And really depends on how you train your artificial intelligence. Like ChatGPT is a big training tool. Like not just for you, but for itself. And as you put stuff in, it remembers like what you put in. And how you say it also matters. Like just adding a couple of words will change your answer like completely, which is insane.
It is.
Even just adding please into it will make it a different answer, And then it might even say thank you.
And sometimes it saves me so much time, and I'm so happy with the response that I'll say, thank you, that was great. And it'll reply back, you're very welcome. I'm here if you need me.
Right.
And then it does kind of have like a human touch.
Yeah,
it's like, I can count on you.
No, it's great. And there's other tools like ChatGPT, which is like broken down in terms. It's called a large language model. It's just a bunch of different trainings, thousands of books, videos, audios, movies, all piled into this thing. And it's constantly learning. But Microsoft has its own. It's called Gemini.
And I've used Gemini. I like Gemini.
Now, what do you feel is better, like ChatGPT or Gemini?
I'm used to ChatGPT. I really like ChatGPT, but I've used Gemini maybe once or twice. I do like the layout. I feel like it's a little more futuristic.
Yeah. I mean,
for lack of a better word.
Would you say that user base, like you using it, do you feel like it's easier to use than ChatGPT?
Honestly, it's kind of the same to me.
Okay.
I can't think of anything that would make me say this one is easier, but my whole purpose in using it was to see which one I like better. So far, the reason why I like Gemini better is because of the design. But when it comes to usage, so far I'm happy with both of them right now.
Okay.
But I'll give y'all an update. I'll continue to use
Keep using it
and see. I'll be able to tell you which one is best in the end.
Now there's another one that's called Claude Artifacts. I'm thinking about giving that a go, and maybe in our next session we compare ChatGPT to Gemini to Claude, and we can see which ones that we recommend.
Okay.
Because they all are free to an extent, but they're also, you get more features if it's paid.
Right.
Just like everything else in the subscription-based world.
Yeah. The free features that you get are so amazing. You'll be thinking
you don't even need it. Like it
right.
depends. It depends on what you do. Like for work, I feel like is when you would get further in.
Right.
I have people. So we're doing this podcast at the Innovation Depot, which is a tech hub incubation center for businesses
in Birmingham.
Yep, it's huge. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this. I think it is the biggest like for-profit like incubation center, at least in square footage in I think the country. That's what I've heard. And every company in here is tech and tech centric. And I've seen people come in here with just the idea for a job. And by using stuff like Chat GPT, they're able to make their idea like an actual reality.
Give us an example. What's one of the companies that you watch them grow from having an idea, come in here and expanding? Because I've seen some great success stories. So tell us what you've seen firsthand.
So I have a business partner I work with. I do his marketing. His name's Chris Prosh. He came into the cohort for Voltage. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Their incubation program. He had an idea for a data analytics startup, and using like what they taught him in ChatGPT, it's alive. It's a thing, stuff like that. And the thing is, you're able to validate. I think the really important part is being able to prove that this idea can be a thing. I've been using it because I've been doing my own marketing on the side, And I'm like, ChatGPT, who are some targets I should be targeting? Like, what industries do you think would benefit the most from an outsourced marketing agency? And if I do, how should I go about reaching out to them? Or am I targeting CEOs, CFOs, maybe their own marketing department? Just any way that comes across to give me the advantage when I have that conversation.
Right. Right. So, have you seen this particular company or other companies that have come through here, this tech hub that we have here in Birmingham, go from an idea, a startup, to $1 million business?
Now, I don't know anything about the revenue because I just see what they do and it's cool.
I've seen it though.
Yeah,
didn't Kinetic start here?
I'm pretty sure it did, and they there's a group. I'll tell you what. There's another group, Harmony Venture Labs. Have you heard of them?
I have.
So their office is on Morris Avenue, the Cobblestone Road, and their job is to create startups to put into the ecosystem. And I actually went to one of their classes on it, and we did they had a presentation at Birmingham AI, and they talked about prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is using something like ChatGPT to validate your idea. So when they have like a startup, if someone gives them a startup idea or they come up with an idea, they prompt engineer it to make sure it's validated. Like there is a market for it. It can be done. How do we
market research?
Yeah, basically. So it's like, oh, I have this idea. Here it is. How niche is this idea? And it'll tell you blah blah blah. Could this be done with X, Y, and Z resources?
Okay, so that's where ChatGPT comes in to kind of help you
do it,
validate, like you said.
And it's like yes or no, and then it's like, well, if it's a no, how does that become a yes? And then once that's a yes, and we're at the next step, when that becomes a no, how do we say yes? And it's a constant process of validation to make sure that this could be a go-to market product or idea that like could change the game at least within that its own space.
Right, right. And while you were talking, I just couldn't help but to think about the number of times that we said ChatGPT. But just like with Zoom video conferencing, whenever you're the first to really do something and blow up, when that timing aligns with the need, your name is known as the phrase for video conferencing. Right. A lot of us will say Zoom and not video conference.
Or
just
Skype.
Like we're continuing to say ChatGPT instead of
like
we don't even know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, a lot like I used to use Skype for like video calling, but the thing is, Zoom became so big during the pandemic, and Skype didn't hop on that train. Skype literally, and that's the thing with some of these companies that
you gotta adapt to change.
Yeah, there's no evolution.
Technology changes so fast, and that just goes back to, I'm sure you heard this story before, the Blockbuster Netflix story. Netflix literally approached Blockbuster, and Blockbuster said our customers love to come in the store and pick out their movies and bring them back, and they enjoy the experience. Where's Blockbuster now?
No, they
and where's
Netflix?
Now.
Yeah.
So, technology changes at lightning speed. So just anything that you're doing as a small business, as a company, or in your everyday life, just continue to remember that technology, we can tell, because even when I was a child, the little Nokia phones that we used to have with the snake and the green screen in it, and we look at the phones that we have now, and I couldn't imagine how we used to survive with that, with all those cute little ringtones and the stuff. We
you can buy it for like $5.
Yeah. And then they used to have the the free after 9 o'clock texting and calling and stuff like that. So and now it's unlimited everything.
Yeah.
We have no constraints.
I used to have I'll never forget, we used to stay with my grandma, and my cousin was using my grandma's phone, but he didn't know that it cost money to send all these texts, and he had racked up a phone bill of like $500. It was so bad.
Yeah,
and my dad thought it was me. I was like, it was not me. Okay, I promise you, I'm not using the phone. I'm playing on my GameCube.
Right. Kids these days could never imagine. So, which brings me to our last topic, social media and its influence.
Right.
So let's discuss the impact of social media on our lives, from communication to privacy.
I feel as if, just like technology, software, social media is constantly evolving. Even AI, artificial intelligence, is taking root in our social media. That's your algorithm. Mm-hmm. We're scrolling on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, like all day, but it's literally like adapting to what you like, the stuff that you like, the people you talk to, and creating a feed from that. Mm-hmm. That algorithm is basically just a mathematical equation to the videos you watch. Maybe all you do is watch nature documentaries. All you do is like nature documentaries. So when you search something, the most of your stuff is nature documentaries. I look at tattoos a lot. Mm-hmm. So if you look at my Instagram feed, it's literally all tattoo based stuff.
True.
So
it definitely picks up on that, because it's all about advertising at the end of the day.
Right.
These companies want to track us. They want to know what we like, what we're interested in, what type of stuff we like to do, where we like to go, so that they know what type of ads to put in front of us when we're on social media, when we're on Google. Mm-hmm.
That's even when you talk too. Like if you're talking out loud, like something you'll talk about one day will come up.
Same day.
Yeah, come up like the same day or like the next day.
I could be on the phone with somebody and mention something that I need to do for the first time. Hang up, get on social media.
It's already
bam,
there.
It's already
there. And it's already sponsored content.
And I noticed one time I saw someone's status. It said that they thought about something. They didn't even say it, and they saw an ad.
Wow, really?
Yes.
It's probably the algorithm at work. If you add up everything to it, that eventually leads to probably something that you're thinking about in the future, which is kind of the pinnacle of advertising. You already see what you don't know you want, until then you want it.
Yeah, I guess that makes me feel better when you say it like that.
Yeah. So. No, I mean, it's still scary, but
yeah, it is.
You just got to make sure your pockets are not burning a hole, so you don't buy it.
Right.
Because then you're just like, oh, well, I'm going to buy this, that.
And look, one of my cousins was telling me one day, she said her dad, which is my uncle, was preparing to buy another car. Mm-hmm. And they had been talking to people about it. And, somebody had said something about a truck. And then next thing you know, he started seeing all of these ads about trucks. And she's like, he's telling me this is the confirmation from God that I need to buy this truck. And she was like, no, Daddy, that is marketing.
It's ads.
Do not buy that truck. She was like, the Lord is trying to tell me that I need to purchase this vehicle.
Gosh. No.
So we gotta let our parents or any of the people in our family put them up on game.
Right.
Let them know, like, everything that pop up is to sell you.
And we talk about privacy, but when it comes to social media, there isn't a lot. I mean, when you sign the terms and conditions, nobody ever reads the fine print. And that's probably why, when we're talking or something, that we see that sponsored content up there, because it's built into the agreement.
Right. That is true. And then if you did want to read the fine print, but you wanted to save some time, you can always upload it into
ChatGPT.
and it'll let you know. But I mean, at the end of the day,
is there anything in here related to my privacy?
Yes,
here we go.
Signing your life away.
Yeah, I know.
Advertise to you hardcore for the rest of your life.
All right, cool.
Cool. Well, that was fun.
So, guess that's about it. So, This is the first episode of Technique, where we technically talk about all things tech. Let us know if you guys have any thoughts or ideas on what we should talk about, and we'll have some guest speakers on once this becomes a full-fledged, project.
Yeah.
Any last words, Courtney?
Well, I'm excited to launch Technique. So
the time is now.
The time is now.
Yeah.
It's so many things are changing and technology changes so fast. So we want to make sure that everyday people that may not be in the industries that we're in are able to understand some things that's going on. If it's any, people that have the scary what if questions like I have sometimes, they'll know how to make informed decisions, and think about things in the right mindset versus just assuming certain things,
right,
or letting things invoke fear into your life, or knowing when you should be concerned about something, because we're here to share the honest truth with our viewers about how we feel about everything that's taking place. So we're excited.
Let's do it. That's great.
Yep, can't wait to grow with you. So until next time.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.